Turn on your sound, and turn on your sound. Sometimes it's not on. So hey, this is Brian Johnson. Welcome to my Wednesday night training, where tonight we're going to start digging into big disease, how to prevent, reverse, and eliminate heart disease, America's #1 killer, which most people don't know. And we're also going to talk about how to eliminate and get rid of depression and anxiety, which is also stricken pretty heavily in our society. So with your permission, of course, we're going to dig into some really amazing stuff. My invitation to you is to be open-minded, because I'm going to share some things with you that may be a little outside of your box at the moment. And that is completely fine, because most of the stuff that I'm going to share with you is not public knowledge. So with that in mind, Mr. Curb Malley, please, if you have not been on my live feed before, just type first timer in the message box below. That way we can make sure you're squared away, make sure you're taken care of, loved on, and supported. You're in an amazing community here, so do just make sure and give yourself permission to feel comfortable and feel at home, because what our home is your home. So let's go ahead and start digging into what we're going to talk about tonight. So 4 points I'm going to talk about specifically is going to be about number 1, which is going to be the emotional belief system that is necessary for these types of symptoms or diseases or pains or problems. Specifically, we're talking about heart disease, talking about anxiety, and we're talking about depression. What needs to happen emotionally in our body for that to actually happen first? Because what most people don't understand is that we break down energetically or emotionally before anything shows up physically. And when you actually understand this, it's going to make a massive difference in your ability to start understanding what to do about it, in conjunction with understanding with what foods to do, with what organ systems are impacted, of which we're all going to cover tonight. So point 2, we're going to talk about your body, and we're going to talk about where your body is impacted specifically. Hey, Cynthia. What's up, Terry? We're going to talk about where your body's impacted. Hey, Shannon. So, and those of you that are my veterans, if you don't mind, please tap in the share button on your screen. You are awesome, and I love you, and I appreciate you so much, because you are going to help out someone that I would never be able to help otherwise. And if those of you that were on my feed on Monday, you would have heard my story of what actually happened and why I kept doing the old social media deal. So I appreciate both of you, Shannon and Melody. So now, point number 3, we're going to talk about lifestyle stressors, because here's something very important for you to understand. Most illnesses, I'm talking most of them, like literally like 90% of them, hey Cynthia, are impacted by lifestyle choices. What does that mean, Brian? Well, lifestyle choices are your food, your water, your thoughts, your emotional relationships, and how you are impacted by them. All of this makes a dramatic impact into what happens in your physical body. Hey, Miss Audrey, welcome aboard. So we're going to talk about number 4 is going to be nutritional steps and what you can actually do from the grocery store so you can really empower your body with what's necessary. Because here's the important part. Everything that is needed for us to thrive is already on the planet. It's just a matter of understanding what is necessary for that to happen. Okay, you need to understand exactly what God's foods go, where they go, what they do, how they impact your body, and all this stuff we talk about in our Nutrition Empowerment series. All of it, like different dietary theories that you can implement, different foods you can start to eat to understand how to feel better today. Not something you got to wait a week from now. When you actually put the food or the right information in your body knows what to do with it. We just get to get out of the way, right? All right, so here's just a quick little 30-second lesson on why you may lend me your ear and trust what it is that I'm telling you. And it's only because I have well over 100,000 hours invested in this stuff. And it's never because I had to. It was because I literally loved it so much that I just geeked out on it. I've had family members who have come down with terminal illnesses that have pushed me into my purpose, if you will. and allowed me to study with some amazing teachers, and this is where all of this information is coming from. And I do it to support you so you have the necessary skill sets to be successful. I am not a healer. All I do is empower you with the truth necessary so you can make the changes in your life to empower your own body. Because let's be honest, doctors can't heal you. The only thing they can do is give your body the feedback and the information or the food or whatever is necessary to help you to be successful. That is it. Hey, Lori, good to see you finally on here on my feed. So for those of you that are just popping on, welcome aboard. If this is your first time, just type first timer so we can make sure that you're squared away. And for my veterans, for those of you that have not shared, please do. And if you feel inspired to share, please do. That's the best way you can help me to help others in your life. And I appreciate you for doing so. So let's go ahead and get into the actual content, right? So this is important for you to understand because the more you connect with me and Chris, my business partner, you'll see him. He teaches tomorrow. He teaches on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The more you connect with us, you're going to understand that we have a system or we have a pillar of systems that we operate by. And here's what they are. Very simple. When you see it and when you hear it, you're going to be like, wow, that makes perfect sense, right? So number 1 is air. Number 2 is water. Number 3 is food. And number 4 is consciousness or your emotions, right? What does that mean? Here's exactly what that means. This means that, thank you, Audrey. This means that you're going to die without air first. You're going to die without water second. You're going to die without food third. And you're going to die potentially number 1, potentially number 4 or 1 by your emotions. Because a bad thought will kill you much faster than a bad disease. Okay? I'm going to say that one more time because this is important. A bad thought can kill you much faster than a bad disease. Hey, Mr. Jamie Close. Love you, bro. My brother from down under. It's probably summertime down there while it's wintertime up here in the States. So when you understand that air, water, food, and consciousness or your mindset, and you understand that that is really what's impacting your day-to-day activities, you will understand why things are going on, and most importantly, what you can do to change that. Because importantly, unless you know what to change, it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. I don't mean that to be derogatory or negative. I'm just saying as an analogy, it's not going to go too well potentially. Okay? Hey, Rosie. Hey, Melinda. Thank you, Melinda, for sharing. So here's something else that's important for you to understand, because as human beings, we all have 6. Hey, Leland, we all have 6 needs. All right, this is important. So number 1 need, we'll just start over here. Okay, number 1, certainty. Number 2, uncertainty. Number 3, significance. Number 4, love and connection. Number 5, growth. And number 6, contribution. Hey, Carlos, love you, bro. So this is important, okay? No matter who you are and what's going on in your life, we have 6 human needs that we're constantly trying to fill, right? So the decisions that we make, how we show up in our relationships, the things that we create in our relationships. What happens is we literally have needs that we are subconsciously, more than likely, most of the time, they are subconsciously operating, meaning underneath our awareness. They're subconsciously operating, and until you understand that, you're not going to understand why things keep cyclically showing up in your life. Because let's be honest, okay? We can all agree, if you've been following me long enough, that I do not believe that we are a slave to our genes or our genetic lineage. I think that that does play some of a role. And most importantly, your mindset and how you feel about yourself is what's going to play the biggest role in what you experience in your life, from the positive outlooks of it, to the negative outlooks of it, to your types of relationships, to the types of illness and experiences and things that you experience. All this has been proven by Dr. Bruce Lipton, okay, by Biology of Belief. This is not Brian Johnson knowledge, okay? Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate you. So it's important to understand that, right? Because everything that happens, when it happens emotionally, then guess what? That's when it shows up in the form of a disease, and that's when the system, I say, will be able to categorize it or put a name on it and now say you have XYZ, and we can treat XYZ with XYZ. That's why it's very important to never identify with a name of a disease. Don't ever call me and say, hey, Brian, the doctor said I have blank, blank, blank. No, you don't. You have symptoms of high blood pressure and pain in your right foot, and your cholesterol is going through the roof, and you got blurred vision. Okay? That's very important, because as soon as you, quote unquote, name a thing, now it has power. And now you have psychosomatically induced and introduced that as an opportunity into your physiology. If you do not take away anything else, make sure that you do not agree and align with that statement. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just merely presenting to you another option that I've seen work on hundreds of thousands of people just like you. And if you give me 1% of your trust, undoubtedly I will earn the other 99. And it's going to take you making a decision right now to trust me. It's going to take you making a decision right now to open your mind and to follow my advice. Because I know where you're looking to go. And ultimately, if we could be immortal, that would be the idea. But it's not going to happen. But I assure you, I feel better, look better, and feel younger now at 39 than I did when I was 20. Your body is consistently turning over cells. Every 60, 90 to 120 days, you are a completely new human being. So if you put in the building blocks of life, like minerals, high vibration foods, get the junk foods out of your life, get the processed foods out of your life. I'm talking about balance, not totally. When you do that, your body's going to rebuild from the inside out. You can completely regenerate anything that you choose to if you choose to do it and you understand how to go about doing it. And tonight is what that's about. What's up, Stacy? Hey, Terrell Lloyd. So, let's go ahead and start getting into combating big disease. Number one killer in America, heart disease. And did you know, heart disease is literally preventable and avoidable. And you know what's even more interesting than that? It's done through lifestyle choices. It's done through exercise. It's done through proper hydration. It's done through vegetables. It's done through foods. It's done through mindset. And most importantly, you remember me talking about point number one? Point number one was talking about emotional belief systems and why things actually show up. Here is why. This is going to make such logical sense when you hear this. And just trust me when I tell this to you. When I share this with you, grasp this, own it, and understand when something shows up. For example, heart disease impacts your heart. And when we think about heart, what do we think about? We think about Valentine's. We think about love. When someone has been heartbroken, they literally have had an emotional experience where they have been really heartbroken, or pain has been inevitable. Suffering is optional. When that happens, that person has now introduced the opportunity to come down with heart conditions because of being heartbroken. It sounds kind of crazy, but when you really think about it, the truth always resonates with you. I don't have to teach you this stuff. This is something when I share with you, like, you know what? That makes sense. God in you knows what's up. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Lisa. Your body knows the truth. Your subconscious knows the truth. Give yourself permission to receive it, but also to trust what your gut is telling you. Body language and language code, I have seen nothing else that ever impacts and creates miracles faster than those two skill sets. All right? So number one, you have emotional belief system. The emotional belief system of suppressed love. Heart disease equals these belief systems first. Suppressed love. And I'm going off of my notes 100%. Okay? Obviously, whatever I throw in there, but I'm following off of it right now. Hey, Danny. So emotional love. Here's the challenges. Suppressed love. When someone has heart disease, suppressed love is an active property. Okay? Heartbroken is another one. Love equals pain. I have something for you. For those of you that know that I was suicidal in my past, you may be able to relate to this. Okay? So if you've ever had an experience that went south, there's a very good opportunity for you to believe in the belief system of love equals pain. And if that's so, if that's a fact for you, if you've ever had that experience or you are operating under that experience currently, just type a yes or no. The question on the table, to you, does love equal pain? It's not wrong or right. Let me just see where you're at. Hey, Troy. Question on the table. What's up, Jamie? Yeah, for those of you on my bottom feed down here, you're on my personal page, make sure you connect on Think Great, Lose Weight as well. That way you're on our fan page as well. What's up, Katie? You seem new. Welcome aboard. Okay, so right now there's some no's. That's awesome. Okay, so Rebecca, there's one. Okay, good. Thank you for being honest. Because here's the important part. A lot of people do not know this. I didn't know that I was functioning off of love equals pain, but here's the important part. It's not that love equals pain. It's the withdrawal of love that equals pain. And now, let me ask you this. If it's one word off, it's not the truth. It's a delusion. It's the counterpart. It's a counterfeit. Love equals pain. It's not. Withdrawal of love equals pain. So when you understand that, you can totally make a shift. And I honestly did not know that until probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And I had my experience happen 10 or 12 years ago. How nutty is that? Okay? So that's important. So here are some things that you can do to start to implement to strengthen your heart and to strengthen the emotional center in your heart. What's up, Mario? Love you, bro. It's been a while. All right, so here's some emotional belief system affirmations that I like to use. All right, so here you go. Okay, so I love with all my heart is important. Hey, Anitra, I love with all my heart is super important. Okay, I give myself permission to love with all my heart. So now this is important because if you're using these and you find yourself having some resistance or some tightness in your chest, I always add, I give myself permission in front of my affirmation, because this way it gets my egoic mind out of the way so that I can communicate and interact with my subconscious, which is where all of your power is at. If that makes sense, just type a yes. If you understand why I give myself permission, say yes or no. If not, that way I can go back and I can reframe it for you. Welcome aboard, Miss Katie. Again, it's good to see you. So, I give myself permission to love with all my heart is super important. So anyone who has had some type of emotional challenges or maybe have had challenges with mom and dad, doesn't matter what it is love, period. And as human beings, understand that we are designed to love. Hate is the inversion of love. Okay? Hey, April. Perfect. All right, so here's a couple of other ones. So now when you start talking, hey, welcome aboard, Sandra. So when you start talking about areas of the body or areas of our body that are impacted, here's what happens. Obviously, when you're talking heart, you're talking everything. It's your circulatory system. It's your lungs. It's your brain. It's your gut. It's everything, okay? So here are some things to start understanding, okay? So here are some lifestyle stressors and things that you can start to look at to help to mitigate. Notice I didn't say eliminate. Mitigate means to control as often as possible, to filter. Very important because we have so many stressors that are going on in our life, from emotions to environment to people to negative relationships to negative foods to processed foods, all of it. So the key is the more that you are aware of it and the more that you can consciously make better choices, the more impactful you're going to be able to help your health. And most importantly, you're going to stay out of the doctor's office. Because here's something a lot of people don't know. I have not been sick in 25 years. And it's not because I'm some miracle creator. It's because I understand what to do. I understand grocery store food knowledge. I understand the wisdom in God's foods, which you also have the opportunity to do so. In our Nutrition Empowerment series, we go through every food from A to Z from the grocery store, telling you what medicines are in it, where you apply it at, how you use it. We go through the importance of different types of water. We go through the importance of different types of fats. So fats, to understand, fats are not bad for you. Fats are extremely important for our nervous system and for our brain function. Hey, Chris. So if you're not using fats effectively, that can make a big promoter in your brain function. It can make a big promoter in your hormone function. There's a lot of different things that are going on that fats make a big important difference in your life. So when you understand how to implement and integrate different foods, here's the importance and here is really the validity in it. When you're doing different types of foods and you're really paying attention to what's going on, you will feel different within seconds to minutes to 30 minutes to an hour when you start implementing new foods that your body desires to have. It does not take a long time because understand this. If you're talking natural foods, meaning very minimal process and very minimal human hands of touch, God has already created those since the beginning of time. He knows what your body needs. So when you put it in your body, if you've got some type of illness, you could be amazed at how fast things start to shift. For example, how many of you are aware that kiwis can reverse asthma? Hey, Franco, I appreciate it. How many of you are aware that kiwis can actually reverse asthma? Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever seen that? Like, I've been involved in health and wellness since I was 7 years old. I've done every possible certification you could actually imagine. And honestly, I did not come across that information until about 4 years ago. Which means that it's not being taught in school. It's not something of privy of mom and dad. There's a lot of information that's out there that most people are completely unaware of. Like beets beat disease. I've had my teachers tell me that people have reversed pancreatic cancer with beets. How nutty is that? Okay, so let's go back through some different stressors at the moment. Lifestyle stressors, electrical chaos. This is why I have this necklace on. Okay, and we can talk about that offline, but that's one of the reasons I have this on. That's one of the reasons why I have yellow bladed lens glasses on, so that these things do not, so all the blue lights do not blast my pineal gland and throw off my circadian rhythms. And yes, that's correct, Tiffany. Okay, mitigation of electrical chaos. I'm also sitting here with an amethyst stone in my hand. I play with this thing a lot when I'm actually teaching. It keeps me in my body and instead of out of my head. So there's a lot of things. Like if you look over here, I've got oils. I've got stuff everywhere. I've got constantly things are going on. I've got a mat underneath my feet for grounding purposes because there's so much stuff going on that, what's up, Brian D? If you're not aware of it, it's extremely difficult to mitigate it because you cannot see it. There's so much electrical chaos going on our planet that you cannot see what's going on. You may feel the impacts and the residual of it, but you have no idea that you're even being impacted, which is the worst part. When we're sleeping at night, we're consistently getting slammed by satellite rays, Wi-Fi's, radio towers, EMFs, everything is getting blasted. And when you understand that our body is an electrical circuit, our heart is an electrical circuit. When you understand that, it can make a massive difference in how you feel and most importantly, how you function. Because when you have waves that are hitting your body and you're not even being aware of it, it's kind of hard to defend it because you don't even know you're being impacted. The only way you could possibly know you're being impacted is by using dowsing rods, like something like these things right here, or you could use some type of pendulum that will actually measure electrical devices. But I got devices everywhere, and I have a lot of these most of the time in my pocket. So when I go to the grocery store to get foods, I use this because this right here will tell me if my body likes it or does not like it. It'll go to right if it's correct, or if my body says yes, or it'll go left. And what's crazy is, watch, I'll make it change. I won't say anything, but watch this. Now watch, I'm going to make it go the other way. It's going counterclockwise right now. You see it shift and change? I didn't move my hand. I didn't do anything, but all I was doing was say, show me a yes and show me a no, and it will completely shift. Why is that important? It's important because God has ways for us to be superhuman, where he puts his super on our natural so that we can actually tap into what's available and have devices that can measure this visibly, so you can actually see, feel, and experience some different things that are available for you. Like, how important would it be for you to go to the grocery store once you understand what kiwis do and once you understand what avocados and asparagus do, and have a way to measure whether your body likes it or not? How important would that be for you? How important would that be for you if you have kids? Like, I have a daughter, so when I go to the grocery store and I'm getting her stuff, I take my pendulum out of my pocket. I'll say, all right, is this going to be good for Riley? Yes or no? Bam, bam, bam. And this gives me feedback. I took it today when I went to the movies and checked on whether I should be eating fish tacos or whether I should be eating chicken and quinoa. And I had chicken and quinoa. Now, why is that important? Well, because it's super important, because it actually allows you to understand how to use a device to actually determine whether your body energetically aligns with a food or does not. Very important, okay? That's what I'm talking about with electrical chaos, okay? So then we also have something called a Q disc, all right? Q disc. I have one on the back of my phone and I have one on my breaker outside. It's basically a little bitty sticker about this big that sticks on the back of my phone that takes all the Wi-Fi's when I'm on my phone. It takes all the crazy chaotic signals and it runs them through that Q disc, and it creates a coherent energy signature with my body so my electrical system is not impacted. Because here's something that may be important for you. I have a tendency to be dyslexic. I didn't know this until I was 32. I'm currently 39. I didn't know this until I was 32. I'm going to share with you my story real fast, because I have found and experienced working with well over 100,000 people that about 60 to 70% of people are switched on some level. So here's what my coach did. My chiropractor is in his 80s. He's about 5'5". To give you an indicator, I'm about 215 to 220 pounds at 5'10". He goes, Brian, come up here in class. He goes, take this magazine right here, and you're going to hold it in your hand, and you're going to hold your right arm out. And you're going to start reading this out loud, and you're going to hold your arm still, and I'm going to push on it. So, okay, let's do it, right? So I start reading out loud. He's pushing on my arm, and he's pushing, and my arm is going down. Like, this guy is half the size that I am as a human being. Plus, he's, 4, 5, 6 times older than I am, okay? I'm reading this out loud, and I'm starting to get jumbled up on reading normally from the front of the sentence to the period. We got done with the test, and I was like, that's kind of weird. I had nothing to compare it to yet. Here's what happened next. He goes, all right, now what you're going to do is you're going to read from the end of the sentence, from the period. You're going to read towards the front of the sentence out loud and hold your arm out. I said, okay. I hold my arm out. I start reading backwards, and I could have swear to you, my arm was so stiff, I promise you, he could have hung off of it. That's how grounded and how intact my nervous system felt. And I was just strolling right along, reading backwards. I'm like, all right, that was obviously different. Very different for me and my energetic experience and what I experienced. I said, what's the deal? He goes, well, you're switched. You're dyslexic. I'm like, well, that would make a lot of sense as to why I hated reading when I was going to high school and going in just school period. And reading is not my deal. Listening to is. Now, I can show you how to reverse this temporarily, like in 15 seconds, and I can also show you how to check it faster than that. That, by far, is one of the most valuable skill sets. And what does that have to do with heart disease and depression and anxiety? Here's exactly what it has to do with it. Our body is electric. Everything that we put in it, from foods to electrical chaos to waters, everything has an electrical charge. It either jives with your energy or it trips a circuit breaker. And when it trips a circuit breaker, it flips your energetic patterns to where you're not functioning appropriately neurologically, which creates dyslexia, which creates doctors choosing and desiring to put you on ADD and Ritalin to help you focus. Okay? Now, also, when we have emotional belief systems like I don't love myself and love equals pain, when we have those operating, that also will trip our circuit breaker to where now we're not operating in alignment and we're out of polarity. If that makes sense to you, just type a yes. Let's get some feedback for a second. While we're getting some feedback to you, I have an opportunity for you. We're not done yet. I'm just going to share something with you. You have an opportunity tonight to hop into our Nutrition Empowerment Series and literally save 86%. We've dropped our price down from $497 to $77 for the Christmas holidays to serve you, to give you the gift of health. All right? You've got 4 different bonuses. I'm going to go through them real fast so you can check them out. If it makes sense, you can hop on it. If not, it's all good. Okay? You basically got bonus number 1. You're going to be added to our closed Facebook group where you have added support, where we're actually doing live trainings in there now starting this week for our family. Number 2, you're also going to get my MP3, or Chris and I's MP3, perfect, Anitra, where you actually have the audio. You can go through and listen to it while you're driving around town or doing whatever. The digital course is actually where Chris and I are talking and going through slides, so you have 2 formats where you can dig in. Okay? Next one, bonus number 3, is you're actually going to get a conversation with you and I. What's up, Hannah? That way I can help you figure out where you're at and what we can do to best serve you. Hey, what's up, Leah? And bonus number 4, only for the next 5 people, is you're actually going to get Chris's grocery store training for free, where he actually goes through a whole virtual tour to walk you through what foods do what as a value-added bonus. You got 4 bonuses and 86%. Literally, you got $420 off. All right, so if you choose to take advantage of that, go up to the link above and you can do it from there. And I'm going to go ahead and continue with where we're doing. Welcome aboard, Hannah, Gabe, and Robin, Anitra, Leah. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to talk about everything is good so far on understanding electrical chaos and understanding how dyslexia would pop up and how it correlates to heart disease and depression and anxiety. Because we're about to get into depression and anxiety. And if you haven't shared and you feel called and inspired, please do, because I assure you there's so many people that are functioning with depression and anxiety, and what I'm going to share with you tonight will absolutely change your life if you implement it. All right? So let's talk about some nutritional aids for a second, because you heard me just talk about how every food, every drink of water, everything that we do has an electrical charge. And some foods that are very important. What's up, Brenda and Susan? Some foods that are extremely important for our heart specifically. Every organ system has a certain energetic frequency that has foods that also match that frequency to lift up the emotional vibration, to increase the faith in that organ system. Okay? If you're with me so far, just type a yes, because I just laid out some rather detailed information for you, and my choice is to make sure that we're all on the same page. If not, that way I can retract for a second and make sure that I help you to understand fully. So if everyone's good on that, just type a yes. Okay? So we're going to start talking about the food. So one of your top foods for heart and increasing your heart function is vitamin E. Vitamin E, one of the best sources of vitamin E. What's up, Marissa Stevens? One of the best sources of vitamin E is olive oil. Now, this is very important. If you cook with olive oil, just type a yes. If you're cooking with olive oil currently, just type a yes. And I'm going to go over 30 minutes. I'm enjoying myself, so we'll probably go ahead and roll. All right, Robin. Malaya, listen to this all the way through. Yeah, we're going to go for a little while because I'm having a good time and I'm enjoying interacting with you. This is the highlight of my day. What's up, Marcel? The highlight of my day. All right, so olive oil cookers. Let's talk about this. This is important. There you go, Jamie Close. I knew you didn't. Okay, explain the tie to faith. Okay, perfect. Great question. So when we have certain foods that increase our energetic vibration in organ systems, as we raise our vibration, we're increasing our courage, which in turn is increasing our faith energetically. Most people are mineral deficient. And when we are mineral deficient, we do not have the electrical catalyst or capabilities to shift from sorrow to joy, from anger into forgiveness, from apathy into I choose to make this fun and easy. So when we have different foods that are amplifying our emotional vibration, that in turn is increasing our courage and in turn increasing our faith and our ability to move out of less than optimal emotional states. Let me know if that was articulated well enough. Awesome, April. Good to see you, April. How's your fam? Tell your husband I said what's up. All right. So let me know if you got that, and I will explain to you again, or I'll go back and we can have an offline conversation. But understand it. So my olive oil cookers, this is very important. The only oils that you should cook with are going to be saturated fats, which is going to be butter, which is going to be ghee, which is going to be coconut oil. Here's the reason why. Saturated fats, if you think about this, if you think about a bus, and you think about a bus with all of the seats full of people, okay? If you think about that as a fat, that's a saturated fat or a saturated bus. So when you heat, we'll talk about that, B. I got some information for you. When you think about heating the bus, here's what happens. The saturated fat is completely saturated. There you go, Leah. So if you heat the saturated fat, it's not going to have an opportunity for something external to hop in the seat that would be missing. Okay? So here's what I mean by that. So if you have an olive oil, which is a monosaturated fat, and you heat it, you have empty seats in your bus. So when you heat it, the structure changes and you have free radicals that come in and inhabit the spaces because you're taking it to a heat that it's not designed to incorporate at. And now it becomes a food that instead of being nutritious for our body now begins to attack it because it thinks that it's something that is a foreign substance that is now impacting our system. If that makes sense to you, just type a yes. So, Brian, say Kangen 9.5 pH water with a restructured water molecule and some liquid mint flavored chlorophyll in a BPA-free jug with I am blessed and I am grateful written on it to adjust my little molecular structure vibration water. Yeah, we'll talk about it. It's good stuff. What's up, Jeremy Howie? Does that make sense on why you would use coconut or saturated fat over olive oil? Now, here's the thing. Olive oil is extremely potent. Drink it or eat it natural, in salads, unheated. Very potent. It's a very potent liver cleanser. It's great for heart. It's great for nerves. So if anyone has any type of nerve challenges, if any type of epilepsia, what is that? I choose to... Epilepsy. What am I having a challenge with that? Epilepsy? What is that word? Where people have seizures. I don't know why I'm having a challenge with that. I give myself permission to make this fun and easy. So, epilepsy. I think that is. Anyways, where people have seizures, I'll choose to remember the name. It's going to come up in a second. For some reason, I'm having a challenge spitting it out. You can actually use olive oil, which is a great potent builder for nervous system. Okay? So there you go. Epilepsy. There you go, B. Thanks. Epilepsy. If you have someone who has that, you can use olive oil to help to service or support the nervous system through vitamin E. Okay? Here's another one for you. Hawthorn berry. Thank you for your support, ladies and gents. Hawthorn berry is another one that's great for your heart. Cayenne pepper is great for your heart. It's a great circulatory system. Okay? Calcium, not through pills. I'm talking through foods. Swiss chard is an amazing one for calcium. You also got some good stuff from chia seeds. Okay. Magnesium is another thing that's really important for heart. That's going to be in most dark leafy greens. And all this stuff that I'm talking about right now, we go through every bit of it in our Nutrition Empowerment series through the food section. We literally go through all of it, A to Z. Okay, walnuts is another one. Like, this is really cool. There's actually been studies done in Barcelona for those of my weight trainers and people who are in the physical realm of training, but also people who have got stroke issues and brain challenges. Walnuts will actually increase your blood circulation by 24%. That is a lot. All right? So anyone looking to increase your performance, anyone looking to reduce blood pressure, anyone looking to reduce, reverse, and start to help with stroke possibilities, or someone who actually has had a stroke, the key is just opening up your blood vessels first so you can get more oxygen through. Then you start clearing out all the plaque and all the crap that's stuck up in the arteries through different foods like eggplant, okra, using the avocado seed. That's right. Using the avocado seed is a great plaque reverser. You can blend it up in your smoothie like I did it today. All this stuff that I'm talking about is all in our Nutrition Empowerment series. And if you understand that, what's up, Stevie? You're going to be able to literally empower people in your life to make a massive difference. But most importantly, you're going to be able to empower yourself first. You've got to be able to understand it yourself first before you can start to share it with other people, right? All this stuff we talk about, okay? Here's some other things for you. Ladies who are fighting osteoporosis or anyone who has had a bone challenge with bone breaking, there's some stuff called nattokinase, Nattokinase. It is a Japanese fermented soy that it smells like aged cheese. Here's the importance of it. It has a vitamin K2. We'll talk about that. Vitamin K2 is extremely important because here's the purposes of it. For bone purposes, anyone who has had a bone break, it will massively shift how fast your bone lays down osteocalcin because vitamin K2 is 100% absorbable versus vitamin K1, which is only 10% absorbable, which is also found in Swiss chard. Okay, Swiss chard is also a blood thickener. So anyone who is on blood thinners, don't take Swiss chard. If you're a type 1 diabetic, Swiss chard is great because it has some stuff called syringic acid that is literally just like taking a shot of insulin. Super potent. All right? So, nattokinase, great for clearing out plaque in your arteries. Oh, Mary, you definitely get to do the avocado seed. You definitely get to do walnuts. You definitely get to do some nattokinase. Like, we can help you with that pretty fast. And all the stuff that you need is in our Nutrition Empowerment series. Take advantage of it while it's down to $77. What's the difference between soy and fermented soy? Great question. So, my coach has a website, or his friend has a website called food-healing.com. Fermented soy takes out all the goitrogenic properties. Okay, so let's talk about soy for a second. We're going to get off track for a second, and it's going to be super important for ladies and for all of us, okay? Soy has goitrogenic properties, which means that it will affect your thyroid because of, depending upon who you are, what you're susceptible to, it can impact your thyroid. Now, it also has something called phytates. It's done like what we're talking about now with slides, so you can go through each food, and with Chris and I talking, and then it's got an audio version too, so you can listen to it, Katie. Just shoot me a message. I'll talk to you after, and we can get you hooked up. So the next thing is it also has some stuff called phytates. This is the important part, right? Phytates literally will block your body from absorbing nutrients like calcium, magnesium, and zinc. And so if ladies are taking in soy and they're having osteoporosis issues and they're not able to absorb the zinc, they're directly impacting their hormonal opportunity to produce more testosterone, which is vastly important as we get older for bone density, bone mass, for fear. And believe it or not, when you're low on testosterone, your fear will be running rampant, okay? So there's definitely a correlation in hormones, all right? So understanding the difference between a fermented soy, which takes those properties out and now it makes it usable by our body, versus the other way, that's an important part. Great question, Jamie. All right. Hopefully that made sense, right? Because we got on some pretty interesting topics that sometimes can be a bit challenging to relay, but it seems like all of you are engaged right now and all of you are asking questions that sound like you're on the same page. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. So let's enjoy ourselves, okay? All right. So, and keep questions coming. You're not going to throw me off, so whatever you have. And if I don't get to it, I'll go to it when I'm done and afterwards. And I'll go back to it. So first off, I appreciate you engaging, because this lets me know that you're getting value out of the information, and that way I can go in more deep into it to help you understand the value even more, which is really what I would love to do. And we go in way more deep depth than this in our Nutrition Empowerment series. Okay, so here's some important things. For those of you having heart challenges, all right, it's important to clear out the plaque in your arteries. It's like having a super lane, 7-lane highway and having cars just stacked on it where you can't move. If you think about that highway as being a massive system in your body, of circulatory system, of veins and arteries, and it's all clogged up, it's a matter of time before you're going to have a stroke or you're going to have a heart attack, okay? Two of the most potent artery scrubbers are okra and eggplant. When you look at okra and you cut it out, you're literally going to see all the little fibers and the soluble fibers in there, okay? If that makes sense so far and you're with me so far, just type a yes. And we're going to talk about a couple of supplements, and then we're actually going to get into depression and anxiety. We went a little bit longer in heart disease, but that's okay. You're going to love depression and anxiety, because this is going to make a massive difference when you understand this. And I'm going to dig into some good emotional components to really help you thrive today. That's my goal. Give you some gold. Brian, include the electrical protection stuff in your series. I spent a ton of time online developing software. No, bro, but I tell you what, if you shoot me a message, man, I'll get you hooked up and let you know what's up, and we'll talk about it. I don't talk about it yet, but that's something that we're fixing to do, is create a whole new series called Combating Big Disease, and we'll definitely talk about that. Great question, though, B. Awesome, Marissa. What is okra? My Australian friend. Anybody? Okra. A-O-K-R-A. Jay? Please, Irvin, tell us more details about the nutrition series, where to get it. So, hey, Susan, if you go out of my post and you go up to the link, our nutrition series, Nutrition Empowerment series, is 6 modules long. We literally go through different dietary theories. We go through all the food stuff way more in depth than what I'm talking about now. Like what walnuts do specifically, why they would be used, what instances they would use, and what symptoms they would help to reverse. We go through A to Z on grocery store foods, plus exotics like acai, goji berries, and things like that. The delivery system is digital, which means you're going to look at it like what you're doing right now. There's slides with the foods on there that we're talking about, so it goes back and forth with faces like what we're talking about now, and it also goes through slides. It's 6 modules. It's packed, all right? You also get an MP3, which means you get the audio taken from that, so if you're choosing to drive around your car and listen to it or something like that, That way you can listen to it as well versus just watching it. And you've also got 4 bonuses, Susan, that you get as well. If you go back up to my post when we're done, you can check out the bonuses, and it's laid out. You have you have over $1,000 worth of savings, and it's only $77 right now. Literally, it's $420 off the normal price. We're running a Christmas special so we can make sure we support all of you and give you something to take home to your family. And most importantly, to teach you how to thrive from the grocery store through holistic health and wellness and wisdom. That's what we stand for. So with that being met, if we got any more questions, you have my number. Hey, Mr. Heather McKissick, if anybody is in Austin, Texas, or anywhere you have a university, federal credit union, Heather McKissick is the lady. She's a head HR person. She's one of my favorite clients and awesome people. She used to be the president of Leadership Austin when we used to help teach it. I love her and I appreciate you. And Heather, I'm digging my self-journal book. I write in it every day. I talked to my client Steve about it today. So all right, so carrying on. Here we go. Susan, message me if you have any more questions. So talking about supplements, one of the biggest things that you can do on a supplemental level that is dramatically important. Anyone who has any type of heart challenges, you got to get some of this. It's called CoQ10. Hey, Rebecca. Oh, you're okay, Heather. We're going to go for a little bit longer. CoQ10, very important. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I love you and it's important for you to know. CoQ10 was actually manufactured in the United States first. Here's what happened. They started doing all the tests on it, and they started running it against all the drugs, and they found that most people got to come off the drugs because of how well it impacted their body. CoQ10 is responsible for creating 98% of our energy on a mitochondrial AP level, cellular level. It is extremely potent and extremely beneficial for all human beings. It works so well, the United States, the FDA or whomever decided to kick it out of the United States and put it over in Japan or somewhere else so that it wouldn't be sold here in the United States because it impacted Big Pharma. Imagine that shit. That's me being me, and I love you. So CoQ10, but make sure if you get CoQ10, use the ubiquinol. It's spelled U-B-I. Just look for that part. UBI, ubiquinol, N-O-L. That is the most user-friendly form that you could possibly find, all right? There's usually only 2 forms, so you'll find that. And hey, if this is your first time, just type first timer so I can make sure you're greeted appropriately. And if you haven't shared and you feel inspired, please do, because I'm about to get into depression and anxiety, and I assure you this will dramatically impact you. We're fixing to finish up right now with heart disease. So red yeast rice is also super potent for lowering cholesterol. You can easily get it at any store. What's up, Chuck Karam? Also, too, working out is vastly important. If you're not working out, you owe it to yourself to start today. Start by New Year. That is your New Year's resolution for the rest of your life, that you work out 5 to 6 days a week of something you enjoy. I enjoy doing Pilates. I enjoy doing jiu-jitsu. I enjoy doing boxing. I enjoy doing walking in the park. I enjoy riding my bike. Do something. What's up, James? Welcome aboard, my brother. Thank you, Mary. So next thing is cardiovascular activity. Do some. I walk. I have a treadmill. I feel great when I do my cardio. That's when I get a lot of my me time in. That's when I get a lot of my affirmation time in. That's where I get a lot of my reading in right now. I'm reading this book right here. You got to get it. Super amazing. Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender by David Hawkins. Great book. I'm only about 10 pages into it, and it has been super solid. All right, so now, proper hydration and good clean water. Our body is 70 to 80% water, and if you are dehydrated, that is a big deal. Your heart is electrical, and it actually has a stronger electrical impulse than our brain. Really fascinating. Like, there's more thoughts going on in our heart, which is oddly enough, than there is in our brain. That's where when you feel from your heart, that's where your heart center is. When we can get out of here and into here, that's where you're operating in your gold. All right, here we go. Let's dig into combating big disease with depression and anxiety. And I'm going to go ahead and roll. I'm enjoying myself, so as long as you're enjoying yourself, let's have fun. I typically only do these for about 30 minutes, but everyone is kind of rolling, so we're going to have fun, and I'm going to share. I'm just going to keep providing value. Feel free to answer questions. Feel free to ask whatever you got. I'm here to support you. This is my time to connect and to support you, so this is all about you, so let me know where you're at. And if you have some specific things that I may not get to right now, I always go back. I am extremely active on Facebook, so I'll go back through these things, and I will to literally be able to answer your questions. If you would like to contact me directly, just message me personally. If I can't get to you, I'll have my assistant Jocelyn Britton connect us and hook us up, and we'll get you squared away. So I'm here to support you. That's what I do, and that's how I get the most bang out of my life, is to be able to provide value in your life and see you implement the things that I share and watch you make magic happen. All right, so here we go. Depression affects 1 in 4 women. And it's really interesting because I've worked with about 100,000 people at this point, and I can tell you from my own personal experience, most women, out of men and women, I see most women who are experiencing depression. Not to say that men don't, I just think that it may not be, that's probably not what they are thinking that it is. How's that? So interesting. So 30% of college students experience depression. Anxiety affects 18 million. Women are 2 times more likely to be affected. Okay? Now we're going to talk about emotional belief systems. Ricky Caldwell. Hey, bro. What's up, buddy? All right. Awesome. Let's set up a time to connect. For sure. Miss you, bro. It's great to see you, man. It's been since high school. Holy cow. We're 39. Or you got to be at least close to that. Love you, bro. We'll catch up. So let's get into emotional belief systems. So anytime you're talking depression and you're talking anxiety, you are doing 2 things. You're either A, living in the fear. Is this statistical clinical depression or the feeling of depression? That's a good question. What will be the distinguishing difference of that? Let me know what you're talking about, and I can clarify. These are stats, if that's what you're asking. So depression is living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future. Write this down, the most important thing that you can do to eliminate, control, reverse your depression and your anxiety. Are you ready? You remember me talking about earlier how our number 1 component, our number 1 pillar is? It's called air, breathing, long-term versus short-term pressing. That's a great one. Let's talk about that one offline so that way we can get clear on it. Breathing. Breathing is the number 1 thing that you can do to reverse illness, to reverse depression, to reverse anxiety, to reverse anything that you are choosing to reverse. Breathing is the first place to start. I can tell you this much. Breathing has made massive differences in my life. I have done some breath work when I've been out in the middle of the jungle with my coaches doing a bunch of emotional work. Matter of fact, about this time 2 years ago. We did so many hardcore warrior breaths that literally I was so high off of oxygen that I laughed my rear end off for 3 hours. I was so sore, like uncontrollably laughing with a group of my teammates after doing some massive breath work and doing a lot of processing work. So I'm telling you, if you focus on breathing, if you focus on meditating, I've got 2 apps that I use. I've got one called Headspace and I've got one called Calm, like as in calm your nerves. Breath therapy is by far, like they use it, they call it Qigong. If you've heard of Qigong, type a yes. Qigong spelled Qigong. If you've heard of Qigong, just type a yes. And if you're hopping in for your first time, just type first timer. And if you'd like to go ahead and hop in and make sure you take advantage of our Nutrition Empowerment Series that's on sale for $77, go up to the link above and you will also get all 4 of those bonuses in which you and I will connect and to help you get squared away and to have a one-on-one conversation. Breathing sessions are amazing. Like I honestly used to hate meditating and I used to hate writing in my journal. And I'm not talking about years ago. Jamie knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally like 3 weeks ago. I have had the biggest challenge with meditating and writing in my journal. And I know for a fact, every high-level billionaire person and millionaire person that I know, what's up, Salma? Every one of those people that I know, every one of them will tell you it's one of the biggest things to do that you could ever do in your life for positioning yourself, for being present, and to having your full I am presence, functioning and operating consistently and predictably is through meditation, through breathing, centering yourself, and journaling your stuff. Here, I'm going to share this with you. This is an extra. Or this is the bonus, okay? If y'all journal, I'm going to share this with you because this has made such a massive impact in my life. I'm going to go ahead and share it with you because I think that you'll find value in it. One of my friends and clients, Jamie Masters, got me this. It's called Self-Journal. I'm just going to show you this briefly because if you're depressed, if you're functioning any type of thing that's not serving you, this is something that will dramatically help you to improve that. So over here on this side, this is all my calendar, which means every day, all the hours that go by, I can set everything up over here. Here's the cool part over here. On the bottom of the page, it has 3 things that I'm grateful for. In the morning, I write these directly when I get up. Then I've got all my goals over here of that I'm going to accomplish for the day. I've got my today's targets, which is my action steps. I have a quote right here by Walt Disney, lessons learned. This has been very valuable because when I read something or I have something come up and I'm like, aha, I come over here and write that in lessons learned. And then I write it on my wins. Like, what are my wins today? Because it's very important because a lot of times when people are depressed and they're functioning in anxiety, they're not taking time to celebrate the little wins. They're consistently focusing on what they don't have. If they're thinking about making more money or they're not where they're at, I'm telling you my own personal experience. If you're not where you would like to be financially and you're consistently focusing on what you don't have, you're consistently going to get more of that and you're going to vibrate that into your experience. Rather than being able to shift that and say, you know what, I'm not where I would like to be and I'm nowhere where I used to be. What do I get to be grateful for and thankful today? Because I assure you this much, if you're practicing breath work and you're practicing conscious gratitude and appreciation, you cannot be in fear, anxiety, and fear-stricken and depression at the same time. It's impossible. What's up, Ken Montsbayas? Yeah, Katie, you'll love it, okay? So then you got wins down here, and then I've also got tonight what I'm grateful for, my 3 I am gratefuls. And it kind of is like Alex Sharfin stuff. A lot of the same layout, but it gives me a format. Like so much so, I carry this around with me. That's how much I use it now, which is super fascinating because that has been one of the biggest things I've had a challenge with of not wanting to write it down. My choice is to be my best, and to be outstanding, which means there's certain things that must be present in my life to accomplish that. To serve at my highest level possible, this is an absolute necessity for me. I would go on Amazon and just type in self-journal. And I'm not an affiliate or anything. Maybe I should be. And it's funny because Heather McKissick, my client that was on here, she's the one who told me, she goes, Brian, I just got this journal after I did all these hours of research. And I was like, awesome, I just got one too. It was gifted to me. How amazing is that? So I really highly recommend it. All right. So now let's go to back where we were. So anxiety is living in the future, fear, past versus future thinking. That's why it's very important when you notice yourself tight in your chest, tight in your chest and your throat. This is where sorrow shows up. If you're tight in your stomach, that's where fear shows up. And this is why body language is so valuable. I'm going to share with you my technique that I created called, Audrey, will you type in ABRA? A-B-R-R-A. Like abracadabra. Write this down because I'm going to give you a system that I created to help you to identify where you're operating at. Because here's the deal. Unless you can get clear on where your current reality is, like not what you think it is, what your body, what your subconscious is telling you that you're functioning in, until you can get clear on your current reality, there is no changing it. You must be accurate with what you're thinking, accurate with what you're feeling, and being able to name that tune. Here's what I mean by that. ABRA stands for acknowledge. B stands for breathe. The R stands for release. The second R stands for realign, and the A stands for appreciation. Here's what that means. I'm going to be me. I'm driving down the road and I'm having a day where I'm depressed. I'm anxious, things aren't going my way, and I'm like, man, what can I do to change this? As I'm scratching the back side of my right knee, which is all body language information. That's all partnering with myself with what I'm doing moving forward. So my body is literally giving me feedback right now while I'm talking to you, engaging myself in depression, fear, and anxiety. My body is already giving me scratches to let me know what's up subconsciously. So when I tell you, like, there's things going on that you're directly unaware of, this stuff is absolutely fascinating. I have yet to find anything that even tops closely what body language does. It is fascinating. Here we go. So I'm driving down the road right now, and I'm like, all right, ABRA, what do I notice? Acknowledge. I'm going to scan my body. Man, I just feel fear. I've got all these thoughts going on. Thank you, Audrey. I'm not sure what to do. I'm depressed. My stomach's all messed up. My bowel movements are messed up. I can't think straight. All right, here's what we do. Acknowledge. Scan your body. What do I notice, Brian? Okay, what do I notice? I notice that my stomach is tight. Okay, what does that mean? Well, that's where fear shows up. Well, does fear resonate with you? Yes, it does. All right, what else do you notice? And I'm going to either start from my ankles and work my way up, or I'm going to start from my head and work my way down. Start somewhere. Second thing, all right, what do I notice? I notice that my chest and my throat are tight. All right, do you feel sorrow? Yes, I do feel sorrow. I feel sorrow for where I'm not at and where I think I should be. Okay? Doesn't matter what you think it is. It's a matter of accurately identifying what your body, your emotional body, what your subconscious is telling you, because this is where the magic is. And until you can shift that feeling out, there's no shifting your thoughts. Your thoughts are creating your feelings, and until you can shift your feelings first, it's not going to change your thoughts. All right? Here we go. So I noticed that my chest and throat's tight. This is where sorrow shows up, or this is where sadness shows up at. Grief and anxiety, you're going to have fear, you're going to have sorrow, hands down. So here's the magic. The acknowledge is, all right, I just acknowledged I have sorrow showing up and I have fear. We can talk about that, Rebecca. Conflict between your thoughts and your feelings. When you have tightness in your jaws, that's conflict between your thoughts and your feelings. Your thoughts is your upper jaw. I got a little mess. Your thoughts is your upper jaw. Your feelings is your lower jaw. Or your dad and your mom. Okay? So, what happens is acknowledge is A. B is breathe. You're already breathing down into your stomach. Like, check in right now. Are you breathing from your chest or are you breathing from your stomach? If you're breathing from your stomach, that means you're functioning in your higher state of consciousness. If you're breathing from your chest, that means you're functioning in fight or flight. Okay? We'll finish this part out and then we'll wrap it up for tonight. Here's what I do. Acknowledge, breathe, release, and realign. Here's what that means. I'm going to start with my sorrow first. I would say, all right, I give myself permission to feel my sorrow. That automatically takes a load off my body, and my body automatically took a deep breath in my stomach. That's a great sign. That's side number one, stomach. Through pain and lower back right side. We'll talk about that. So, sorrow. I give myself permission to feel my sorrow, and it's okay. That takes the charge off the emotion. Most people have been believed in some way or another that feeling their feelings is not okay. Hey, Jenny. We've been in it for an hour. What's up, Bobby Hall? I'm noticing clenching teeth too, new for me. Yeah, so conflict between your thoughts and your feelings, or your mom and your dad, or you and your husband. So dad, conscious mind is upper jaw, lower jaw is your mom or your feelings. So when someone has TMJ, they've got conflict between their thoughts and their feelings, their mom and their dad, or if they're a female, it would be their lower jaw and their husband or their partner. What's up, B Hall? Good to see you, buddy. I can kind of just see you virtually on there. Hope you're doing well, buddy. So here's what we got, okay? So once you feel that, you can say, all right, I give myself permission to feel my sorrow. That's going to pull the charge of it off. And I choose to love my sorrow into my joy. Now, this is important. Why this works every time is because of what I'm about to share with you. I am aligning myself with scriptural law. I'm not talking religion. Scriptural law. You too, brother. Let's catch up sometime soon. So what happens is this. Scriptural law. Perfect love casts out fear. Here's what that means. When I can love anything that's less than love, I can literally shift it. Okay? And it works every time. Like, this is me being Brian with you, 110%. It works every time. Hands down, predictably, consistently. I've seen it work so many times, I do not even doubt it. That's how much I've seen it work. Here's what it looks like. I give myself permission to feel my sorrow, and it's okay. My body will breathe. It'll take the edge off. I choose to love my sorrow into my joy. And I give myself permission to move forward. Automatically, you will feel your throat and your chest completely alleviate all of that energy. You'll sit up straight more than likely. You'll take a deep breath. I encourage you right now, if you choose to do more emotional breakthrough and body language stuff, message me. We have courses on this that are phenomenal, and I'm not saying that because they're mine. I'm saying that because we use this to teach people just like you to master and be a Jedi of exactly what you're feeling. Because until you can recognize what you're feeling accurately, there's no way to shift it. It is no way to shift it, period. And I tell you this because I've been through crazy things in my life, and what I have found work consistently is what I'm telling you. Okay? So that's number one. So I love my sorrow into my joy. When I say that, and right now I encourage you to use it verbally. Use it verbally so you can hear yourself. Until you get Ninja S and it's dialed down. Like there's times when I'm doing talks and I notice something come up for me, and I'll do the work internally and my body will shift. Tight shoulders and neck. Depends upon what side. So Heather, I give myself permission to think and do with ease, or I trust. So anyone who's having jaw issues or TMJ, I give myself permission to think and feel with ease, and I give myself permission to take action, or I trust myself. Those affirmations more than likely will work. Use them out loud and see what you notice. And here's the thing. When you use this stuff, it works immediately when you find the right language command. Here's the cool part. When you find the right language command, your body will then make a movement or a scratch. Or if you're a female, your left foot will move forward. Or you may scratch the right side of your nose, which is I will. Left side is I can. You may scratch the right side of your eyebrow, which is I'm seeing differently. Super fascinating. Like I have seen more miracles happen in seconds. I teach this stuff to chiropractors all the time. Chiropractors come to me to help them learn this stuff, and it makes a massive difference on what they understand and the questions that they can ask to immediately create a healing response in a client that they haven't had success with in years. I've had people that have come to me who have been in the medical system for 30 or 40 years, use body language and language command, and literally issues gone in 30 seconds to a minute. And I'm not saying that as a boast or a brag. I'm saying that because I'm grateful to be a conduit of the information that God has helped me with that I can share with you to help you do the exact same thing in your life. And naturally, that's what we're looking for, right? My only interest, just so you know, my only interest is in creating miracles consistently and predictably. That's it. If the information that someone brings to me or comes into my path does not equate to that and it's not faster than what I already know, I do not even waste my time with it. I will invest my time mastering what I know works consistently and I see work consistently, because let's think about it. Everyone has a body. Everyone speaks. The fastest way for you to upgrade your life or downgrade your life is by what you are saying. Hands down. Let's do this, all right? Sit up in your chair. We're going to play a little game. Here's what you're going to do. Hey, Tracy. Welcome aboard. So here's what we're going to do, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to say, I want out loud. And just do it 3 times. And there's no judgment. Just do it out loud. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to sit up straight and you're going to say, I want. I want. I want. I want. Here's what I notice. When I say I want, I automatically clave off. I automatically bend at my chest. I automatically bend at my chest. What does that mean? Who would ever even notice that? No one until right now, because I'm bringing it to your attention. This is how fast it works. Now say this. Say, I choose. I choose. I choose. I noticed my volume got louder. I was not intending for it to do so. My spine straightened up even more than what it already was. Okay, now, here's what this means. Here's why this works. Scripturally speaking, not talking religion, tickle on top of my right forehead. Seeing differently. Okay? Yeah, seeing differently. So if you get something on your right eyebrow is about seeing. Your left eyebrow is about being seen. Seeing, being seen. Scratch on the right eyebrow. When something new comes into your path, that means I am seeing differently. Okay? Now, here's what that means. Scripturally speaking, I'm not talking religion. This has nothing to do with religion. Let's just say the Bible has a book of laws, and if we were to align with them, magic happens every time. Agreeable? All right. So it says, scripturally speaking, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Not to say that it's wrong. It's just not creating the results and the outcomes that you would like to see happen faster, right? Here you go. So when I say I want, I am literally agreeing with not having. Okay, now your body is going to immediately identify this. No seconds, it's immediate feedback. So when I say I want, you notice how I said when we were talking about earlier, when we were loving our sorrow into our joy, doing our little body language and our little depression and anxiety trick. What happens is when you get tight in your chest and your throat and your chest, that's where sorrow shows up. That's how it shows up, and that's what it feels like. So when you feel that, when you say, I want, you automatically are creating sorrow in your body unknowingly until now, because I just showed you. And all you're doing, and when you understand that scripturally speaking, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When you say, I want, you're agreeing with not having. That's why sorrow shows up immediately, and your body is an automatic identifier of that. How helpful would it be for you to understand the whole system, to understand what you're saying and understand what you can say to create what you're desiring to? Because here's the thing, if you make one word shift after another and you ingrain it, imagine how much higher you're going to function on your level of frequency. It's fast. It's extremely fast. It's so fast, I can tell where someone's operating at by what they're saying, how they're saying it, and the things that are coming out. Now, here's something even more than that. This is crazy. I love this. When someone is stuttering, when I'm stuttering, the amount of stutters, if it's 2, if it's 3, if it's 4, if it's 5, that's all emotional information. 2 stutters is apathy, which means I can't, this is too hard. 3 stutters is sorrow, which means I love my sorrow into my joy. 4 stutters is fear. 5 is pain. There is a system. When you understand when someone is talking to you, they're giving you information to help them out. They're doing this stuff, they're stuttering, all of it. You're going to be doing this stuff. And when you understand it, you can shift it immediately. But until you understand it and you're operating in your current reality, there's no shifting, nothing. We're showing up and we're being reactive versus response able. This is the beauty and the power of body language and language command. Not even counting food. Honestly, this stuff makes food look like a freaking Twinkie. Not in a bad way, just as far as how small it really is. Because when you understand language and body language, it's going to transform your life immediately when you understand how to use it. Okay? So back to this part. So sorrow, when I say I want, I'm literally agreeing with not having. So here is your Jedi ninja trick. Here's what you're going to practice. You say I choose. I choose. When you say I choose, you're automatically shifting. You are now creating empowerment. You're now creating and putting out a word into our environment, into our ether, into our universe that will literally create for you. This is the power and the importance of language, because it raises your emotional vibration and your emotional frequency of where you're operating at. Okay? We went a bit over normal, and I was enjoying myself, so hopefully you got some good value out of tonight. We're going to call it for right now. If you have any questions, make sure you message me, because we went through a lot of different topics. The best thing on the table, or at least your best value right now of what we're presenting for your Christmas option, is you can get our Nutrition Empowerment Series for $77. Go up to the link when you're done. Get on it. First 5 people get an extra bonus in there. Message me when you're done. That way you and I can set up our phone call to connect with you and to serve you. It's literally $420 off right now. That's all I have for you. I appreciate you. Let me know how I can support you. Thank you so much for showing up, and hopefully you got some good value out of tonight. I shared a lot of different stuff, and we kind of went off the beaten path, but not really. Because if you're on my call an hour and 10 minutes into it, then this is what you need to thrive. Let's be honest. That's what we're looking to do, right? Of course we are. You wouldn't be on it an hour and 10 minutes into my call. So body language and language code, that's where it's at. If you're really ready to upgrade your life and you're serious about making some changes in 2017, guess what? Body language and language command is where it's at. We have every bit of this in digital format to support you and to provide you the opportunity to understand how to consistently create miracles in your life. What's up, Brenda? So if you would like to take advantage of that and have a conversation afterwards on body language and language command or nutrition stuff, if you have any questions, just shoot me a question. Yeah, let's set a time. Jamie Close, love you, bro, all the way from Australia. How are things down under? So having a great night. I appreciate you. Let me know where I can support you at. And remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, You will make time for your illness. Thank you so much. Y'all were awesome tonight. I appreciate your engagement, and I know you got some good value out of it. And looking forward to reading the comments. So I'm going to go back and be commenting with all of you. So let me know where you're at. Love you. Have an amazing night. Bye-bye.